Good morning, everyone. Sunday morning, and it's absolutely beautiful and chilly and alternately sunny and showers today. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And today we're going to talk about the Tower card. But just like many of the trumps, it's hard to talk about one card without talking about uh, another one, like Solviate Coagula is the Lover's card and the Art card, Solviate Coagula. And that the Death card and Temperance or the Art card actually help explain one another. Well, so too does the trump card, the Tower, and the card that follows it, the Star, uh, are very closely related, almost like one naturally follows another, and one isn't really truly understandable without the other. Well, tomorrow we're going to talk about the Star card, but I'm going to, at the end of today's little talk with the Tower card, I'm going to give us a little segue into the Star card for tomorrow. But today we're going to focus on the tarot card, the Tower, which is also in older decks called the House of God or the Fortress of the House of God. Uh, and of course, we're reading from, is this tight? We're reading from Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot, published by Weiser and written by yours truly, with many quotes from Aleister Crowley. The official title is The Lord of the Hosts of the Mighty, the planetary trump of Mars. The original design is a tower struck by forked lightning. Human figures are thrown thence, suggests the letter Oyin by their attitudes. As they're falling, their legs sort of spell the Hebrew letter Oyin, which is the devil card, of course. The Hebrew letter Pe, which means the mouth. On the Tree of Life, it's path 27, joining 7, Netzach, victory, to 8, Hod, splendor. The colors are scarlet, red, Venetian red, bright red, rayed azure or emerald. The little quote from the Heart of the Master: break down the fortress of thine individual self, that thy truth may spring free from the ruins. I'll say that again. Break down the fortress of thine individual self, that thy truth may spring free from the ruins. Harris wrote Crowley on an uncertain date, I guess, here. She says, the house of God appears to me as a vortex, not a mouth. Or is it yours, that which can't be filled by mortal effort, try as you may? Boy, she gives it to him as good as she gets. Okay. Have you ever watched the phases of a large construction project? In the first phase, the land is cleared by smoke-belching bulldozers. Trees are ruthlessly ripped from their roots. Grass and vegetation is plowed under and raked away, then cut up or burned. It's a scene of utter destruction and desolation. If you were to take a photograph of the site at the end of Phase 1, you'd have a picture of a catastrophe. However, in a year or two, the picture changes. Construction has taken place, and now there stands a magnificent building, landscaped with grass and trees and flowers, and perhaps a beautiful little waterfall and lake with a swan or two. The Thoth Tarot Phase 1 is represented by Atu 16, The Tower. Let's just take a little kind of close look at what we're going to be talking about here. Look at that. And there's those characters that are falling. This is the most geometric and cubisty, I guess you'd call it, of Harris's works. So, Thoth Tarot Phase 1 is represented by Atu 16, the Tower, and Phase 2 is represented by Atu 20, the Aeon, which we'll get to in a couple days. The Tower is not the end of the world. It just looks like the end of the world. And it is quite simply what Crowley calls the manifestation of cosmic energy in its grossest form. The Tower is the planetary trump of Mars, and it incorporates most of the images that characterize traditional visions. A blasted tower with human figures falling from it. Most older versions, however, show that the tower is being struck by lightning from above, as if by some heavenly wrath. In Harris's vision, the tower is blasted from below by flames belching from the mouth of the underworld. The Hebrew letter Pei, of course, means mouth. This is a most significant reverse in symbolic imagery. Another feature unique to the Harris version is the presence of a large eye at the top of the card that seems to radiate a zigzag of lightning or fire that may be the spark that ignited the flames from the mouth below. And there's that eye, that bloodshot eye. In the Book of Thoth, this eye, which Crowley refers to alternately as the Eye of Horus and the Eye of Shiva, causes him to wax philosophic. He even teases us with comments relating to sex magic and the eye. Here's his quote. There's a special technical magical meaning which is explained openly only to initiates of the 11th degree of the OTO, a grade so secret that it is not even listed in the official documents. It's not even to be understood by study of the eye in Atu 15, or the devil. Perhaps it is lawful to mention that the Arab sages and the Persian poets have written not always guardedly on the subject. Unquote. Okay. If all this eye stuff is so secret, why then even bring up the subject? This is an extremely narrow and esoteric reference that Crowley knew full well would not be understood or appreciated by the vast majority of readers, at least then. Obviously, the eyes refer to various body openings and the psychic centers with which they're linked. While all of this is very interesting from a clinical sex magic point of view, it really doesn't help us too much in understanding the general meaning of this trump. The concepts of the Eye of Shiva, on the other hand, do. The Hindu trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva respectively create, sustain, and destroy the universe. Shiva is the god of destruction. And to destroy the universe, Crowley warns he need only open his eye. Quote, Shiva is represented as dancing upon the bodies of his devotees. To understand this is not easy for most Western minds. Briefly, the doctrine is that the ultimate reality, which is perfection, is nothingness. Hence, all manifestations, however glorious, however delightful, are stains. To obtain perfection, all existing things must be annihilated. Unquote. The traditional title of the tower is the House of God, or alternately, Destruction of the House of God. In chapter 1, verse 57 of the Book of the Law, the goddess Nuit makes a direct reference. Invoke me under my stars. Love is the law, love under will. Nor let the fools mistake love, for there are love and love. There is the dove, and there is the serpent. Choose ye well. He, my prophet, hath chosen, knowing the law of the fortress and the great mystery of the house of God. Unquote. And we see the dove and serpent near the great eye at the top of the card. The dove has an olive branch in its mouth. Crowley describes the image like this. The serpent is portrayed as the lion serpent Cenubis or Abraxas. These represent two forms of desire, what Schopenhauer would have called the will to live and the will to die. They represent the feminine and masculine impulses. The nobility of the latter is possibly based on the recognition and futility of the former. This is perhaps why the renunciation of love in all the ordinary sense of the word has been so constantly announced as the first step toward initiation. This is an unnecessarily rigid view. This trump is not the only card in the pack, nor are the will to live and the will to die incompatible. Unquote. Placed in perspective, this is not such a bad card after all. The citizens of the age of Horus, or the citizen of the age of Horus, is no longer to fear the natural processes depicted in the tower. When the DuQuette's own crowned and conquering child, our son Jean-Paul, was 4 years old, he asked me what will eventually happen to the world. I told him that nobody knows for sure, but that the Hindus worship a god called Shiva, who's responsible for destroying the universe. All Shiva has to do is open his eye, I said, and the universe is completely destroyed. What do you think of that? Without a moment's hesitation, he answered, "Then he closes his other eye." I'm still thinking about that. And that's the end of my comments on the Tower card in the book. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, we'll be taking up the Star card. And I don't know if anybody else, or if this is just my imagination, but our daily readings seem to follow the more cosmic implications of the world events around us. And the Star card has traditionally been the card of hope, usually in a regular gypsy fortune teller's tarot reading. The Star card often indicates hope. And this is something I wrote years ago and included in my little book on divination concerning the Star card. In the Walt Disney classic Pinocchio, Jiminy Cricket, who was played by Cliff Edwards, who was also called Ukulele Ike, Cliff Edwards sings "When You Wish Upon a Star." And the music was Lee Harlan and lyrics by Ned Washington. It won an Academy Award. In 81 perfectly chosen words, this lovely little masterpiece reveals to anyone with ears to hear the innermost secret of high magic. Indeed, if you truly understood these words, you would hold the key to the meaning of life. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dream, no request is too extreme. When you wish upon a star as dreamers do. Fate is kind. She brings to those who love the sweet fulfillment of their secret longing. Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. Deep down inside, every man and every woman is a star. And just like your celestial brothers and sisters, you are a self-radiant and creative God. You have your own unambiguous place in the universe. It's probably good that you drew this card, because every once in a while, whether you think you deserve it or not, you have a reason to be hopeful. You have a reason to be hopeful because the star you must wish upon is yourself. We'll see you tomorrow. Continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will. Every man and every woman is a star.